I think we're good to go to start the meeting. We're missing a couple council representatives. Paul and Natalie won't be able to make it. Natalie's at another meeting currently at the airport, and the airport meeting is probably started at 4, but I'm sure it's still going on, and it's pretty far away. But this evening, we're here just to meet with the Medina County Department of Planning Services and get a little information about, I guess, what's going on with the Planning Commission, because we do have a representative on the commission, which is Chet. Chet Simmons is our representative that goes to all the meetings and, participates in all the activities that go on at the meetings, from the county perspective and representing the city's interest in that. And I think everybody, Denise handed out a handout. I think we all have the handout. And then we also have a fair housing handout also that came along with it. So we have two things that came with it. So I guess we'll start it out. Denise Testa here that will start us out and lead us through whatever she'd like to tell us.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And first of all, thank you for allowing me to come speak with you. Chet actually is a great member of our committee, and he kind of keeps us all in line, with the regs. But again, thank you for allowing me to come. I actually have two presentations. One can last 2.5 minutes, or one can last 6 minutes. So, but I think I'll do the 6-minute presentation because I didn't have enough coffee to talk that fast tonight. But yeah, so I'm going to launch with talking a little bit about fair housing as it ensures that everyone has equal access to housing. And I've included a brochure for you. The Fair Housing Act, which was initiated or began in 1968, protects our residents from when they're renting or buying a home, seeking housing assistance, or just engaging in any housing-related activity. And it prohibits discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, disability, as well as veteran status as well. The one missing in there, in my opinion, is senior citizens. I think that's one of the most vulnerable. I'm not saying that anyone on the panel is a senior citizen, but I believe that is one of our most vulnerable populations, growing populations. In fact, based on our fair housing analysis of impediments that Andrew and I worked on last year, the fastest growing group in poverty in our county are actually senior citizens. So that's probably something a little bit beyond the scope of what I can accomplish, but I'm hoping that someday senior citizens will be added to that list of protected classes. Good morning, good afternoon. So again, knowing your rights and knowing our residents' rights is really the first step in protecting them. Medina County's Fair Housing Office is located at the County Administration Building. I meet with our residents by phone, conference calls, text. If they're more comfortable texting me, many of them email me. The most likely, though, is going to be a conference call, but I also take walk-in appointments as well as they come in. Those are our priority when we have someone stop in our office. And we're located at 144 North Broadway, Suite 113. And our office provides free, customized services for both residents and landlords. We help tenants understand their rights and responsibilities. We also educate them about lease terms and responsibilities. We also create customized individual plans, which I'll talk a little bit about here in a bit, as well as we offer educational workshops and connect our residents to our local resources. So the majority of our inquiries are usually a repair to a rental unit. In fact, about 90% of our inquiries come to that. However, even not making a repair to a rental could be viewed as discrimination, especially if it impacts someone with a disability, such as, I had one recently where they were having breathing issues that they've never had before, and there was moisture in the unit, and it very well could have been caused by that. So we talk a little bit about asking for a reasonable accommodation to ensure that those repairs are made. In other cases, we may advise them or talk to them about rent escrow, where they can send their landlord a certified letter. If the repairs are not completed in 30 days, they can then apply to the Medina Municipal Court to place their rent in escrow with the court until those repairs are made. The key is communication with your landlord. The key is maintaining good records and accurate records as you're speaking or communicating with them, and following the process and respecting that process, because it can be a very powerful tool in their tool belt. And we also recommend that if they are interested in rent escrow, they can come talk to us. I have a flyer that kind of shows the process, and I also have a template letter that I share with them as well, that they can just fill in the information and send it to their landlords if they're interested. I usually recommend, though, talking to their landlord first if they haven't already done so, or submitting the repair request in their what they call their tenant portal systems, which is usually a web-based software program. We also, in your brochure, we include tips for renters, such as before signing a lease, make sure you view and tour the unit that you are interested in. You know, sometimes landlords in particular apartment complexes, sometimes they don't want to disturb the current tenant that's living in the unit that they are applying for, so they show them a different unit out of courtesy. However, you know, I still recommend that if you are applying for a unit, go to the unit that you're actually applying for. Because that, you know, if there is, even though the unit might be identical that you're looking at or that you're reviewing at the time, the unit that you're leasing may be different. There may be some issues with it, and you want those issues addressed before you move in. That's a pretty common thing of sight unseen and signing a lease. We also recommend they read the lease thoroughly to understand it. Landlords also must give 24-hour notice before entering a unit, unless it's an emergency. We also strongly recommend they purchase renter's insurance, as that protects their personal belongings in the event of damage, not of their own doing, and also understanding the safety requirements and ensuring that they are safe and that the unit is in good order. In addition to that, we also have some information from the Ohio Revised Code as well as from the Ohio Bar Association regarding some legal responsibilities. Now, our office does not provide legal advice. We provide guidance with fair housing related issues, but if it is a legal or contractual issue, we may recommend that they reach out to the Medina Bar Association. There's Pro Seniors, which is a group in Columbus, or Community Legal Aid has been a very good partner for us. But we always recommend, even if a repair is not being made, always pay your rent on time. Don't hold your rent back, because that does increase your likelihood of receiving a 3-day notice to vacate or an eviction notice. We always recommend that you notify your landlords when they need a repair right away. And for landlords, you know, we talk to them and advise them on how to work with a tenant perhaps, or how to, if there is an air conditioning unit, even though the ORC requires landlords to provide heat, but it does not require air conditioning. So, however, if there is an air conditioning unit near or that's in the unit, it's required to work. So just because they're not required to provide it, but if it is provided, they need to make sure that it's in good working order. So again, understanding these mutual obligations can help avoid conflicts and promote better housing outcomes. On the last page of your brochure, we've listed quite a few resources. So every tenant or every resident that contacts our office, even if we have determined that it is not a fair housing issue, they do receive correspondence from me about their options and what resources we have here in Medina County that can assist them, because I truly believe that information and knowledge is power, and it provides options. So sometimes, you know, we might refer them to Community Legal Aid. It might be services or seniors and adult services. It might be Community Action. Wayne Medina may have some resources, or even the Fix-It funds in some cases. We get quite a few calls about that. So again, whether, you know, you're a landlord, tenant, or a community partner, you know, we can certainly help, and we do have quite a bit of information to share with our residents. From a county planning perspective,
Hold on one second.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just a quick question on
You're good, you're good.
the fair housing.
Okay, go ahead.
What percentage of apartment units in the city of Medina are generally subject to fair housing violations out of like 100% of them? I don't know if you have that number. I just want to see, how does that compare to the rest of the county? I mean,
I believe that, I think have that data. I don't have it with me here tonight. There are very few fair housing cases. Because again, the majority of our cases are repairs or a conflict that really is not considered discrimination. I would say probably between 4 and 6, Andrew. Does that, I mean, it's not a large number.
And is
in
usually those
comparison to
violations, is it spread amongst various landlords, or is it all the same landlords?
I would say we have some complexes that are probably more frequent than others. However, again, we have maybe, right now our phone calls into our office have already exceeded the number that we received of all of last year. However, very few of them, a very small percentage, are considered housing discrimination. Because discrimination, number one, is very difficult to prove. But anytime a resident believes that they've experienced discrimination, we do assist them with filing with the Ohio Civil Rights Commission and HUD, and then they kind of take it from there. Our role is to try to serve as a liaison between the landlord and the tenant if they want us to do that, or if they give us permission to serve as their liaison. Probably, one of the, again, we had one tenant this week call because she had moisture in her, she had a flood and believed that there was some bad air, some air quality issues, and she was experiencing breathing and respiratory issues, which is considered by her doctor a disability. So we worked with her to submit a reasonable accommodation for them to come in and remediate that. So that's one way that we can leverage. But again, most of the time, just because a landlord isn't making a repair is not because they're probably not making repairs for anyone, if that's the case. Right. Now, if they're making repairs for other tenants, but not this particular tenant that calls us, then you have discrimination. So,
I was just trying to see how we fare with the rest of the county, because I know in different counties it's different, and I think there's different approaches from the fair housing perspective. I think other counties actively try to send people out to get fair housing violations, because I've noticed a few of my clients that I represent in certain counties, they send college kids out to try to trap you and stuff like that.
As in serve, like they're going in to apply for housing?
Yes, and then they try to play the game and they try to trap you into.
Right. We don't do that here.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I don't know even why they do it, but it seems unfair. But some of the cases, it always ends up to be about money, but that's kind of it's unfortunate that happens.
Right, and so we've talked with, in our Medina County Housing Network, we've talked about the fact that, landlords are requiring, they require a certain financial guarantee from a tenant that is applying. So not only do they want them to have, 30%, I believe it's that they want them to prove that not more than 30% of their income is used for the rent.
Yeah, like 2 times
right.
Rent's double.
But in some cases, they're not taking into account child support or other assistance that they're receiving, and so that limits the options of the tenants. But unfortunately, that's not considered.
Well, in today's climate too, the rent structure throughout the country, even in Medina, is so different and high now.
It is.
Everybody keeps saying we want affordable housing, but I keep asking the question, well, who's going to build an apartment building and charge $500 a month? I said, let me find that person, because it's not any individual. It's going to have to be a government, right? Right. Because no individual is going to do that. So, but it's very difficult now, I would imagine. Just
it
because
is.
Of
I think
rent.
the average rent in Medina County is over $1,000.
Yeah, that's for a 2-bedroom.
It is. There. It's for a very small unit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, any other fair housing questions? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry to ask so many questions.
No, you're good.
I kind of do this stuff, and it's interesting, I think. But
So on the county level, we partnered with the city to submit our Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program grant, also known as the CHIP. So we should hear about that at the end of, we're hoping, this calendar year. We also are currently, from a special projects perspective, we also, the fairgrounds facilities strategic plan is still ongoing. So if you haven't filled out the survey, it's still on our website. It's probably going to be up for a couple more days. We're just wrapping up our focus groups, which has been very successful. And then we also offer planning and zoning workshops. In fact, I know that John has been coming to a couple of our planning and zoning workshops, and we've been partnering with our building department as well as our other zoning inspectors to bring up kind of some hot topics. So again, I don't want to take too much of your time. Are there any questions?
No, there was, like you were talking about, there was a strategic planning meeting for the fairgrounds because it is located within the city limits.
Right.
Which is somewhat unique for cities around the state, that we have a fairgrounds in the city. But as we did talk about the advantages of that and how there could be synergies evolving from that, just because we have a lot of businesses and restaurants, and if there's activities, it's close by, you're not driving. In other communities, you have to drive a long way to get to anything that will be able to service those type of people. And I think it's very interesting because I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Right, yeah, we're just finishing up, I think we have one more focus group tonight that we're finishing up. I think this was our 5th focus group. So we're very excited to kind of see, and then we're gonna have one more focus group as well, before we wrap that up. But yeah, our WDC group is our consultant who's working on that with us, and the county commissioners have financed it, and the fairgrounds is partnering with us. So it's been a great experience.
Chet, do you have anything to add since you were here?
Just one maybe unrelated question. You don't get involved with any condos and condo associations and condo owners and?
We do not.
Okay, all right.
One point that I probably should mention on a county level is that we are in the process of, we just submitted or authorized an RFQ to review our subdivision regulations as well as a proposed development agreement. So that RFQ is on our website, as well as we sent it to some of our local consultants. And the due date, I believe, for that is September 26th for those proposals. So we're looking to review the subregs and continue discussions with the proposed development agreement, which is a new initiative that the county has been discussing.
A development agreement with?
With our local developers who submit plans to the county.
Okay, I got you.
And so it's a little bit, like I said, that's a new document that the county does not have in place right now. So, but again, the outcome of that development agreement remains to be seen.
And is that, you're talking about, when you talk about a development agreement, you're talking about public infrastructure improvements along with that and everything? Okay.
Construction, right,
Okay.
right, for major subdivisions. We're not going to look at lot splits or anything like that.
Got you.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think this is a great resource for people who are not familiar with it. My question is, and I don't know if it's per day or per week, what do you average with talking to people in regards to their housing needs or situations?
You mean numbers?
Yeah.
I would say I receive at least 7 to 8 calls a week.
And you said this year you're already further ahead.
We've already surpassed the number of phone calls this year compared to all of last year. I'm actually going to every jurisdiction in the county this fall. This is my first time doing that, where I'm presenting in every jurisdiction, every township, city, and village to bring awareness.
Why is that? Why do you have more already this year than all of last year? Is there?
I think that, I hope, well, I mean, I'm hoping it's because of the outreach, but I also give presentations to other organizations as well. At the same time, I think that, again, when there is an emergency in someone's life, they're looking for someone to help them.
Right.
And, and that's really my goal. And I'm getting more referrals from some of our agencies. in fact, I had a couple today. So I think the referrals have increased as well, because I also go to the health department. I go to JFS. I go to other agencies within the county to bring awareness with their staff. But I don't know if there's really a hard and fast answer as to why, other than, we're here to help, and anyone that calls our office will receive information from us if it's not a fair housing case, so.
My only other comment, I just want to thank you, Denise, and the whole
Oh,
staff over there. It's like my entire time on council, I've always been the alternate, so I don't get to every meeting, but periodically.
Thank
You
you.
do such a nice job, though, keeping the alternates updated. I love after every meeting, you send a nice recap.
Okay, well, thank you.
I want to thank you also, you do a lot for the schools, the department does, as far as maps and things when we need maps, and every time we change our district around or change enrollment areas, the planning department has taken care of the maps, and just so easy to work with everybody over there, and just so professional and thorough, and
Well, thank
I
you.
enjoy. I look forward, even when I don't get to come to the meeting, I'm thankful that you send me the packet every month. 'Cause
Okay, most people run from me when they hear my emails,
It's great. It's
But
always
thank you.
been just a
Yes,
great-
and in fact, we just hired a new planner who has some very strong technical expertise in GIS and land use. Jeff Kassouf is his name, and so we're going to probably over the next few months kind of start talking about some initiatives regarding maps. And we actually are partnering with the auditor's office. They just purchased a new plotter. So they're going to connect our department to their new plotter, and we'll be able to print some pretty cool maps at no charge. So let us know if you need anything printed. Or maybe you just want to hang it over your, I don't know, your dining room table or something. I don't know.
Well, and I agree with Jim. For a while, I was on that committee, and the only reason why I'm no longer on that committee is because I took another job, and we have the
Right, I remember
meetings the
that.
same night that you have them, otherwise I would still be there. But I found them to be very interesting, very informative. It allowed us to know what was going on in the county and where the building was taking place, and all of the requirements necessary to put that new infrastructure and those housing units there.
Well,
So
thank you.
very, very informative. I appreciate the work that you guys do,
I have a great
too.
team, yeah. Our team is great with Jeff. We're small but mighty. We have 3 people, including myself. So Cheryl Heinley's been there for over 20 years, and Jeff is just going on a year, and I've been there for 6 years. So I'm very fortunate to have a very good
Yeah,
team.
it is.
All right, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? All right, well, I
right,
appreciate your
thank you very
time and
much.
appreciate you informing us, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Denise.